this. I just want your opinions on this. Listening to this station, we field a lot of calls. We get a lot of text messages, social media, a lot of different DMs. I love hearing from everybody, and I don't want to say that this is everybody. It is not everybody. It's a small minority who are very vocal, and they pound it down. Just in general, when it comes to these young athletes in sports, I'm really not liking the way that we scapegoat and talk about these kids and take dumps on their faces when they don't perform. And people can say, Joe, they're professionals and blah, blah. I get all that. They're also very, very, very young, and you're going out of your way to crap on people, and like not their game. You're crapping on who they are as people. You're taking still photos and trying to infer on what kind of person they are and this and that. A part of me felt tremendous empathy for James Wiseman yesterday. I don't know if he's good, B. He's probably not. I want him to be better. He didn't. I hope he does well in Detroit. But, like, yeah, he's the reason that the Warriors were being anchored down and his decision, and it's costing them championships. And then it's like, oh, my God. You've won 4 championships. Yes, I would love to have won all 6 of those championships. I know for that segment of fans that wants to dump on Wiseman's face, 4 championships will never be enough. 6 championships wouldn't have been enough. 8, nothing will be enough for that segment of fans. And I just say, please stop rushing to social media and crushing these kids who you don't know. Like, it bothered me yesterday. I saw the comments under the Warriors announcing the trade, and I said, God damn, this kid deserves a fresh start somewhere else for a variety of reasons. Some of you need to look in the mirror.
Well, number one, you know me, I've scaled back on social media. If you lurk, you will get hurt, as Klay Thompson said. And
I felt bad for him, B.
Listen, I've gotten to know James Wiseman a little bit. I've been lucky enough to do the television job, Warriors pre- and post-game show. And I got to know James Wiseman really well. His rookie season, he had just got COVID as the Warriors were going back to Memphis, and he was going to play in front of his hometown, family and friends. And they were in Miami. And so we had a Zoom here at 95.7 The Game with clients, some of the sales staff, and I was hosting a Zoom with James Wiseman for an hour. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, how the hell am I going to get James to open up?
Yeah.
He's a quiet kid.
Super
short-winded, super guarded.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, an hour later, it's like, it's kumbaya. We could have gone another hour.
Yes.
You know, he was happy. He was smiling, telling his life story. We talked about the first time he dunked a basketball, what it was like walking into school the next day. And the kid just wanted to play basketball. He loves basketball.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten to know him over the last couple of years. We chopped it up in media day this past season. Every time I seen him before warm-ups, what's up, man? We met him. Yeah. When you came to media day with me, and I was like, what's up, James? Remember you said, yeah, the Zoom, Miami, blah, blah, blah. He's a great kid. He comes from a rough upbringing, obviously. Single-parent home with his mother and his sister. Obviously, they were doing homework on school buses and all that stuff. So the whole social media thing of crushing James Wiseman, look, the Warriors are 28 and 27, and I could select 7 games where the veterans had a chance to close the deal in the fourth quarter, and they didn't. Steph Curry is an all-time great here.
Yeah. Legend.
A lot of people think he's slander-proof.
Yeah.
You look at the Minnesota game.
Yeah.
Look at the Orlando game. You look at some of these games where he's turned the ball over in crucial situations. Yes. The Boston game just a couple weeks ago. The veterans have been responsible for this, but James Wiseman, number 2 overall pick, yes, it's a big swing and a miss.
Of course it is.
Has it crushed your franchise? No, you won a championship last year without James Wiseman. It's a big swing and a miss, but you still got Jonathan Kuminga to lead on. You still have Jordan Poole to lead on. You develop Kevon Looney. So is it the end-all, be-all? Yeah, it's a massive trade. Now, you get the other thing, too. Oh, man, see, I told you. You should have drafted Halliburton. You should have drafted LaMelo Ball. We just had Tim Kawakami here yesterday from The Athletic in a fun hour.
Yeah.
And Kawakami talks to people. He knows people.
He knows.
He has sources.
Everything that's going on, whether it's the player angle, the coach's angle, the front office angle.
Why do people just think, oh, man, you drafted LaMelo Ball, all your problems go away? Is LaMelo Ball coming off the bench? Is LaMelo Ball going to run off multiple screens? Is LaMelo Ball going to set multiple screens? What does LaMelo Ball mean for Jordan Poole's development right now? I would rather have Jordan Poole than LaMelo Ball. I don't know if the Jordan Poole that we see now is a Jordan Poole. Is that Jordan Poole with LaMelo Ball on this roster? And so, you should have drafted LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball's not a winning player. Doesn't play winning basketball. Right now, he's about himself. Is he a good kid? Absolutely. But on the court, Is that going to help you win championships? Is LaMelo Ball having an impact on last season's playoffs? I don't know the answer to that. But I highly doubt it, Shasky. Yeah. I highly doubt it. So miss me with the whole, you should have drafted LaMelo Ball. Ball is about ball. Ball is not coming off the bench.
Well, they didn't draft him. So we can argue. What I would say is once you drafted Wiseman and then you held on to him for as long as they did, we can argue about did they get enough for him? I think that's an interesting
let's
conversation.
break down the details here. Yeah. All right, so the Golden State Warriors traded number 2 overall pick James Wiseman to the Detroit Pistons in a series of deals that ended up a reunion with Gary Payton II. They trade James Wiseman to the Detroit Pistons for Sadiq Bey. They flip Sadiq Bey to the Atlanta Hawks for 5 second-round picks. 5 second-round picks. Now, some people hit me up yesterday. It was like, why didn't they keep Sadiq Bey? They feel like he's a better fit than GP2 right now.
Sadiq Bey, who hit the game-winning shot against them earlier this year,
and he cooked you in Detroit.
When you thought you had that game in the bag, another late-game situation crumble.
That may be a conversation for another day.
That game was so bad.
So bad. They didn't deserve to win that game.
Oh, my God.
So then they flip the 5 second-round picks, and they get Kevin Knox back from Detroit. They flip Kevin Knox at 5 second-round picks to Portland for GP2.
5 second-round picks. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Now,
fans, by the way, in that hour, were losing their minds.
Oh, I know. I was up at a funeral, and shout out to Uncle Mike, man. Rest in peace. It was a lot of fun up there at the funeral, man, seeing a lot of family. But what's funny about James Wiseman is, now that I'm thinking about it, at that funeral, there's a lot of people came in from Dallas. Yeah. A lot of people came from New Orleans. A lot of people coming in from all over the state. And outside the Bay Area bubble, they think that the Warriors gave up too soon on James Wiseman.
A part of me feels that way. But I understand why they would do it. And I think getting Gary Payton Jr., and I know you could have easily just signed him in the offseason and you could have had him anyway and there would have been a luxury tax hit. I don't know. Here's a good example, B, and I just want to close the book on the whole, like, how we treat people. 925. And I want to talk about this for just a second. Check it out, Joe. When you get millions of dollars and you suck, we're going to have something to say. Well, we make $100,000 a year and get up every morning. You won the lottery and he sucked. Do you know how disrespectful that is to the amount of effort, energy, and hard work that he's put in? Mm-hmm. Like, you're not seeing the hard work. Bonte.
Wiseman works his ass off.
You know people behind the scenes.
Right.
We act like these guys win the genetic lottery, and then they all of a sudden they just walk up to the podium. Here's your millions of dollars.
That's why it bothered me in the offseason when Stephen A. said, "Oh, I'm hearing that Kuminga's feel like he made it."
That really bugged you.
It really did, because it's a flat out lie.
Yeah,
it was a flat out lie. Kuminga works his ass off. He works his ass off. And so people smear these young players, like Trey Lance. You hear stuff about Trey Lance all the time. And then Trey Lance sits down with Rich Eisen, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, wow, look at Trey Lance. He's vulnerable. We've been on that from day one.
Eloquent and smart and
it's
really
been like
thoughtful.
That forever.
I know.
But yeah, we find little things. Oh, Trey doesn't really study the playbook. Trey doesn't really do this. Trey doesn't. Brock Purdy's so much smart. Like, we do this with the young players. It did the same thing with Jordan.
And let's call it what it is.
Did the same thing with Jordan Poole.
It's primarily young black athletes. And it's sad to me. And B, I know I'm the white guy saying that, but it's the truth.
It is
we do that. We file it away, and it really bugs. I feel bad for James today.
The same thing happened with Jordan Poole with the Draymond Green incident. How many people started with, well, Jordan Poole acts like he's got an attitude. He acts like he made it. And then the details come out. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Jordan Poole, the fact that he took a punch from Draymond Green and later on that practice was still working out after practice.
I know.
Was still working on his game. The guy's a gym rat. Same thing with Kevin Durant. We all talk about Kevin Durant, and a lot of people discuss Kevin Durant now. He's not a real leader and all that stuff. All that stuff may be true. One thing you can't take away from Kevin Durant, he's a gym rat. Yeah, he lives in the gym. These athletes want to be the best.
How about D Ford, who everybody rips? And I've had opportunities at him. We've had a run at him in terms of like, hey, the guy didn't do much for the Niners. He got paid a lot, right?
No doubt.
But like when you go up and you have to actually face-to-face the man, he's like, I'm not physically right. I want to be right. How hard was he working on that field to try to get back?
So how much, when we were at Trading Camp, we saw D Ford there. And I was like, D Ford, what's up, man? When you coming on the road? It changed you. I saw that.
I know.
I saw that. And I was trying to explain to people, it's like, oh, D Ford's a bust. Well, he can't control his back injury.
No.
D Ford wants to play.
Exactly.
These guys are football players.
Exactly.
They want to go out there and sack the quarterback.
But there's a financial envy in general in life where people, they see someone making a ton of money and they feel envious, and I get that. Here's what I would say to people.
D Ford was out there working on a sled by himself after practice, and he goes, guys, I'll join you, but I got to get right first. I'm trying to get right.
Which he's right. And We did this with Pablo Sandoval. Oh, he's greedy and wants the money. No, he was literally sad that he went to Boston and he didn't realize that, like, he had no friends on the team. Well, but he got $100 million.
Yeah.
That doesn't insulate you from mental anguish. Like, people think that just because you got a lot of money, does it help? Yeah, I'm sure it does help. Give me $100 million. I'd love to have it. But that doesn't mean that I'm still not going to be a psycho up in the head.
Right.
Your boy over here, I do therapy for a reason because I'm crazy. I know it. James Wiseman came out and told everyone he was going to therapy.
Yes.
And people are still taking a crap on his face. Look, I don't think he's very good. But my point being is, can we have a little more class and dignity as a sports society when it comes to some of these younger athletes? Can we just, I'm not you, not me, can we not rush to Instagram and get in the comment section?
That's not changing, Shasky. That's not changing. We're going to do that. That's today's society.
Me seeing the comments don't look at it. On his Instagram.
I'm tell you right now.
Bad for the kid.
I'll tell you right now, Shasky, you need to stop looking at it.
You're right.
Because it's not going to stop. I stopped looking at it. I don't care. I don't care about people disrespecting other people. I'm done with that. I don't look at it. I don't look at the comments. Because, listen, I had family members yesterday saying, hey, Bonte, man, we look at 95.7 Facebook. People say something about you. I'm in the comments fighting for you.
I know, my dad does
I don't need you to do that.
I know.
Don't read the comments.
I try to tell them
I don't care about the haters.
But they're your family, and they care.
It bothers him. It bothers him, just like it bothered Wiseman family. Real quick, Wiseman makes $9.6 million. No, it's fine. $9.6 million this season, $12.1 million next season. Peyton makes $8.3 million this season and $8.7 next season. So what does it mean? This swap saves them around the Warriors $7 million in luxury tax this season and a projected $30 million next season, although that number can change depending on how the roster is reconfigured this summer. So GP2 is back.
So that
Wiseman goes to Detroit. And you know what? I'm going to push back on something you just said.
What is that?
About Wiseman sucking. It may not be good.
I'm just saying, I don't know.
We don't know how good he could be. We don't know how good he could be. I will say
this. I do know this. He wasn't good enough for our expectations and the team's expectations and probably his own expectations in a Warrior uniform.
He wasn't good in the uniform. But Kawakami said something yesterday that I've heard for over a year.
What's that?
Where everybody's blaming Joe Lacob for keeping James Wiseman.
Yeah.
Everybody goes straight to the owner. Yeah. Oh, Joe Lacob needed to eat humble pie.
The same guy who built the stadium and is spending historic amount of money on the luxury tax, who everyone says sucks.
Yeah.
The guy who didn't trade away any of his stars and kept them together and paid them glorious amounts of money that no one else in the history of sports has done in terms of going over the tax.
So Joe
I heard yesterday all day getting crushed for being a bad owner.
So apparently he's a bad owner.
Yeah, from idiots.
Supposedly he's a bad owner.
I would want him owning. I want him to own. I love Jed. He's done a great job. I would love a Joe Lacob type owner to own any team.
So Joe Lacob gets all the blame for James Wiseman. Was it just Lacob that wanted Wiseman? The front office wanted Wiseman. And you know what?
What's that?
There's unsaid players who wanted Wiseman in that draft. Some of your star players who wanted James Wiseman with the number 2 overall pick. However, it didn't work out. He didn't pick up the system. And this is where my pushback on Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr, to me, is a great head coach. He's one of the top 15 head coaches in the NBA. We know about his plays out of timeouts. I love it. However, I think Steve Kerr did a poor job this season trying to develop these youngsters or having patience with these youngsters. Instead of focusing on what these youngsters can't do, how about we focus on what they can do?
I agree with that.
What I know what Wiseman can do is he can roll to the rim and he can flush it down the hole, right? He can flush it down the rim.
Well, as we celebrate Andy Reid this weekend, the one thing that I've marveled with, he understands a player's strengths and weaknesses. Is McCole Hardman a possession receiver?
No, absolutely not. But you know what? I'm going to get him on the edge and I'm going to use his speed.
I'm just
We're
going
to run jet sweeps, shovel passes, trick plays, all that stuff.
And that's why he's a great coach. Keep going.
Right. So, Wiseman, what happened with Jonathan Kuminga? Kerr is focused on what he can do, which is play in the dunker spot, which is guard 1 through 4, which is get on a perimeter. If he has an open shot, he can hit it.
Yeah.
Do what you can do. Focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. Can Debo run every route on the football field? Absolutely not. But what does Kyle Shanahan do? He enhances
power slants, jet sweeps, running back
in the backfield, quick
wheel
screens.
Routes.
Let's play to your strengths.
So true. Yes.
And I thought Steve Kerr did a poor job in playing to Wiseman's strengths. Now, some people may say, why does Kerr need to change his entire system when he's got Steph and Draymond? He's what
it's called maximizing a player's abilities.
Maximizing a player. Exactly. If you got him on a roster, how can we get the most out of him? I thought Kerr did a poor job with that.
Well, can we agree here, though? Their brand of basketball is so unique to the rest of the league. A lot of guys struggle to pick it up. I feel like JaMychal Green, for example, I'm using him. he took like 3 months to pick it up.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
And now he's starting to look really good, right? Like, not, I wouldn't say great, but he's looking much, much better. Like, Kelly Oubre struggled to pick it up all year.
Yep.
Otto Porter Jr. Picked it up right away, right? Yep. GP2 kind of picked it up right away. Each player is different. Like, they're not going to. JaVale McGee struggled at first. Remember that?
Oh, absolutely. And he only played 9 minutes a game. Everybody acts like he played 25 minutes a game. He played 9 minutes a game,
and he got a couple of alley-oop dunks.
He played in 4.5-minute stretch in the first half, 4.5-minute stretch in the second half.
Yes,
that was
You're right.
That was that. So all this stuff about Wiseman was a Laker pick. No, it was a Golden State Warriors pick. However, I can't fight everybody who says, well, Bonta, you're a Lakers pocket. Of course you're going to say that. Oh, Laker is responsible for this. How do you know that? We had Tim Kawakami who's as tapped in as anybody in this market. And yesterday, what did he say?
Yeah.
The same thing I've been saying for years. This was a organizational pick, not just a Laker pick. And you know what? The pick failed. So you know what good organizations do? They pivot, don't panic, as Shasky always says, and they go out there and go get GP2 because they want to win now. It's fine.
But the Joe Lacob slander is so odd to me. People are like, look at the roster. There's 5 guys that are unplayable, 7 guys that are unplayable. They just won the championship.
Do you want Chris Cohen back?
Do you
want John Fisher?
They just won their 4th championship. Do you know how hard it is to win 4?
Right.
Cuban, we blow Cuban till we're blue in the face. He's won 1 ring.
And he can't sign a free agent.
No, and yet this team, whereas Oklahoma City said, hey, that 3rd star, we can't afford it, go away. We're going to ship you away. They have dipped into the luxury tax, which is so unique because no one other team does it to the degree that they do it. And they've tried to put together a roster. Guys, it's hard to put together championship rosters. Bonta, in North American sports, organizations that have won 4 championships in a decade.
Right.
It's a very small list. It's like the Yankees, the Lakers, the Niners, the Steelers, the Warriors.
And you're going to miss on picks.
Do you notice the outlier?
And you're going to miss on picks. You're going to miss on picks. I tell you one thing the Warriors did do well yesterday was not give up Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah.
The obsession of OG Anunoby,
Thank goodness.
I get it, but I'd rather have Jonathan Kuminga.
I don't even know. Like, I do believe OG's a very good player. I'm not sure what that would look like.
Yeah, I don't know.